Hello, I'm Heather, and tonight I'm going to be talking about marine pollution. It's just a build off of my topic from last week, and my audience would be environmentalists, and my purpose would be informing them of how the marine pollution affects the environment. So, marine pollution refers to the presence of harmful chemicals or particles in the oceans, estuaries, marshes, mangroves, and other marine environments. Most people think that it's the discharge of just the exhaust and petroleum from the ocean-going vessels, but really it's marine pollution comes from land-based sources, and that's from the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. But the vast majority of marine pollution comes from land-based sources, and that's known as a non-point source pollution, and that mainly comes from humans. And so the least important or the least cause of marine pollution is sediment runoff, and that is from naturally occurring. It's naturally occurring, but the human activity has increased its concentration. And all sediment runoff is when loose soil enters the streams and rivers. But when agricultural and construction increases near the rivers and streams, it increases the sediment runoff, and the larger particles and clog the water, and then the finer particles like cloud up the water, so then that blocks the flow of light to the aquatic plants, and that affects the fish and the shellfish because that's what they rely on for food. And so that also causes the second least important or the least cause of marine pollution, and that's algal blooms, which occur when microscopic algae, known as phytoplankton, feed on the nutrient runoff and proliferate greatly. And these algal blooms may block the light also from passing through the water, and they also release toxins into the water or deplete the water of dissolved oxygen through the bacterial decomposition of the algae. And the depletion of the oxygen in the aquatic environment is known as hypoxia, and most fish can't live when the levels fall below 30%. So a decrease below this level is referred as a dead zone, and there are approximately 500 marine dead zones covering nearly 250,000 square kilometers that exist around the world. And two of the world's largest dead zones are found in the Baltic Sea, which has averaged more than 49,000 square kilometers over the last several decades, and in the Gulf of Mexico, which has reached a record of 21,965 square kilometers in 2002. The third, it's more important cause of marine pollution is the dumping of raw sewage, and this is a global problem. I mean, heavily sewage-affected coastal waters can be unsafe for swimming, and the sewage sludge that settles on the seabeds, it destroys the marine life. And in the Mediterranean Sea alone, 80% of the urban sewage and wastewaters are discharged untreated into the sea. And from 1986 to 1992, over 42 million tons of treated sewage sludge from the New York City metropolitan area was dumped into a deep water canyon in the northern Atlantic Ocean. And that causes, you can't swim anymore in the ocean, and it destroys that marine life down there, and it destroys the food for the fish and stuff. But that can also, it's just, yeah. Which leads us to our the most common cause of marine pollution, which is trash and solid debris. And this is what mainly comes from humans, is that we dump plastics and stuff into the ocean and into the rivers which flow into the ocean. And these the plastic alone accounts for approximately 90% of all the trash floating on the surface of the oceans. And they say that they call the plastics and other garbage that are carried by ocean currents into confluences and vortexes of currents are called gyres. And the North Pacific Gyre has amassed the world's largest collection of floating debris and refuse. And the Pacific Garbage Patch garbage patch covers an area larger than the U.S. state of Alaska. And there are also many places on Earth where currents carry large amounts of floating debris and waste back to store, forming what are known as garbage beaches, which also prevents us from going, enjoying a day at the beach because it's just full of garbage. And so plastic debris can kill more than 1 million seabirds and more than 100,000 marine mammals each year. And they can even enter the marine food chain because the small fish feed on them accidentally, the microplastics, the small pieces. And then those microplastics then bioaccumulate as larger fish consume the smaller fish, like big fish eat small fish. Studies show that microplastics may also concentrate other toxic chemicals already present in the ocean water, thus increasing their effects when consumed by the fish. And so scientists have found microplastics along with most other forms of marine pollution in all the world's oceans. And so as we can see, marine pollution is a problem that is everywhere, it is heard about nowhere. And I believe that the only real way we can decrease the pollution of the oceans is to reduce pollution itself. But that's a whole nother topic itself that would require its own set of problems. But then again, without pollution itself, we wouldn't have pollution in the oceans. So thanks, and hope you liked it.